Hey, business building warrior. It's your buddy Jim. Welcome to Silent Sales Machine Radio. I'm going to have a guest on the show today. It's someone that we've had around before a few times, and he's become quite the leader and content creator and success story in our community with multiple streams of income. He focuses in on the replens model on Amazon, which you hear us talk about all the time. And just in case you're brand new to this show, I'm going to tell you what replens are in the briefest possible manner. It's stuff that's all around you in retail store shelves or shopping online. Doesn't matter where in the world you live, you can sell these products on Amazon on a repeat basis and replenish your inventory as it sells, which means your business can be reduced down to as simple as a shopping list that you pay somebody to go shop and send the stuff in. And that's it. That's the model. We teach you how to find these products. That's the magic of our training, is which products you should buy, how to evaluate which ones are good. Those are the replens. Well, the guy that broke this system down into the simple steps that we teach, that's now helped hundreds of recent success stories come to life in our community over the past few years. We've seen a few thousand success stories, is Jimmy Smith. He's got a book on the subject. He is the one who created this module of our Proven Amazon course. If you go to provenamazoncourse.com, you're going to see a bunch of modules. The one we like to start you out with, 95% of our new students start here, replens, because it's so predictable, it's so scalable. It's just a blast of a business model, and you can grow a team around it, or you can keep it small. Keep it in your house or go get a warehouse. It can really blow up on you very quickly, as you've seen if you're part of our Facebook group, all these hundreds of recent success stories, right? But we're going to spend some time with Jimmy today talking, one, about a few things like, is this model still relevant? Who's it for? Is it scalable? Is it getting saturated? Short answer, no, it's not. And we're going to provide the evidence for that. But we're also going to spend some time talking to those of you who have been doing this model for a while. You've built a successful business. Maybe you're at that $10,000 in sales per month or more level, and you want to start to scale and grow. Find out some of the other standard operating procedures that are out there that our other successful sellers are using. Well, we're forming a mastermind. I'll get you the website now. I'm not going to hold you in suspense. AdvancedReplensMastermind.com. That's for serious replen sellers. So we're going to talk to new sellers today. We're going to talk to those who are growing a serious business and want to scale and hang out with other serious sellers today, and everyone in between. We're going to convince you that this opportunity is very exciting and legitimate. And the last thing we're going to talk a little bit about on this episode, once I get Jimmy on the line, is our upcoming Proven Conference. He's going to share with us a little bit about his sessions at the conference. And we've got about 18 other speakers lined up with different breakout sessions at our event in Tampa coming up July 12th through 14th. Hopefully you can join us live there in person. If not, we have great live stream option for you where you get all the recordings and access to the event live if you can watch it while it's happening. And the recordings are instant, by the way. So you don't have to wait forever to get the recordings. If you buy a live stream, you're going to get very fast access to the content at an incredibly low price. TheProvenConference.com is the only website you'll need for tickets or live stream. So we're going to spend some time talking with Jimmy Smith about those as options as well, and his expectations for the event, what you can expect yourself. So with all that and that long introduction, I'm going to jump over for an update with our friend Jimmy Smith. Enjoy this update. So Jimmy, welcome back to the show. Good to have you, man.
Hey, Jim, excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me back on. It's always good to be on the podcast.
Yeah, we've got a lot going on, and you've become a very busy and very integral part of a lot of the things we have going on in this community since last we spoke. So let's get everyone up to speed. What are some of the projects you're working on, and how things been going since we last spoke?
Yeah, it's crazy to think too. Like, I remember 2.5 years ago, I guess it was 3 years ago at the Proven Conference, I met you for the first time. So this is pre-course, all that stuff. And I was so nervous to walk up to you and just introduce myself. So it's such a blessing to be able to be a part of the community more and more. So thank you for that. It's pretty cool. But
you've more than earned a leadership role around here. I mean, you've seen now that's kind of how we do things is new students come in and they don't know what they're doing. But if you start to succeed, we're going to say, hey, what are you doing? Teach us something.
Right.
No, you're a leader, and I'm sitting here learning from you every day. So I You and just a great team of other people who are building businesses and doing life right. It's quite a journey, but yeah, honored to work with you as well, man.
Awesome. Yeah, it's really cool to see the community grow in such an organic way. So it's awesome to be a part of it. But in terms of things that have happened since the last time we spoke, I don't remember the exact, how long ago, but our business is still going strong. We still do over $100,000 a month. We kind of hit where we want to be from a business standpoint, so that we've got it bolted down enough with replens that we can now focus on other streams of income and other different types of ways to sell on Amazon, things like that, as well as software and a whole bunch of stuff that we've got going on. But from a replens perspective, it's been extremely stable over the last few years. And I remember whenever I did the course, I was really worried that it was all going to come crumbling down. Once I talked about replens more, that everything would go away. But it's only gotten better. And it's been really cool to see the hundreds of people that have had success, and thousands of people probably that don't even talk about the success from the replens strategy. But it's been cool to see that happen, and the businesses still grow and remain strong. So from an update standpoint, our business is still going strong. We've also added some other revenue streams and things like that. But yeah, that's pretty much what's happened.
Well, let's explore some of the things that you just brought up. I've been doing e-commerce for 20 years. I've taught several different strategies. There's a lot of people who've been around a long time with us, and there's some people who have just jumped on. Maybe this is the first episode they've ever heard, but I want to lay a little foundation for them about to say, of all the strategies we've taught, there's always a certain percentage of people that succeed and a certain percent that fail, assuming they give it a really good try, right? Mm-hmm. There's some people who just buy courses and don't do anything with it. And unfortunately, human nature is, a lot of people end up doing that sort of thing. But from my vantage point, the replen strategy, the way that you mapped it out for us in our community, it's kind of become the gateway opportunity into all the other strategies we teach, because it's just so predictably reliable. If you put in the work, you do what we tell you to do, you spend a little bit of time learning Keepa, learning how to tell a good ASIN from a bad ASIN, learning how to test small, and slowly inch your way into this thing, regardless of how much money you have. It's all about testing small and kind of learning as you go. If you're willing to follow our advice for a few weeks to start seeing results, this is as predictable and as stable as it gets. And we have plenty of people that stay right here with this model. We've kind of got our pyramid of opportunity on Amazon that starts, hey, sell a few things around the house, learn how it works, get into replens, learn how that works. Well, some people just build a 7-figure business and stay right there, and they're very happy. But on top of that, you can get into wholesale, private label, launching your own brand, or helping other businesses launch their own brands. It's an exciting pyramid to climb, but we've seen plenty of people stay right here. So I want to make sure and give this opportunity to the attention that it deserves. If this happens to be one of the first few episodes that people are listening to, I've literally never seen anything like this as far as the consistency. And you see the hundreds of success stories in recent. These are people just candidly posting their comments. So do any of those stories pop to mind for you? I'm kind of putting you on the spot, but we've seen so many of them. Any of them come to mind as like ones that you'd want to share?
And I probably should have researched that a little bit before I came on.
I should have given you a chance to do that. And we don't have to drop real names, but just throw some examples out there if you come to mind. And I've got a few.
Yeah. So the ones that typically stick out to me, and I don't have any specifics, but the ones that are the coolest to me are whenever people come home from, dads come home from their jobs to be with the family. Whenever there's a single mother that has, multiple children that are just trying to run a business and provide for the family while also doing so many other things. I can't even imagine having to deal with all of those things. So those are two major scenarios that I really find inspiring. And then the last one would be people that go through the one-on-one trainings that have really fast success. Those are things that are cool to me too, just to see the proven replen training, one-on-one program and coaching and all of that kind of take off for people, because you can see quicker success with it if you put in the work. So those are the three types of testimonials that I love seeing.
We've interviewed many of those people on this program, people that have had someone on your team, either you or someone else, one of our high-level coaches, fly to their hometown and find, I think the lowest number of replens I've ever heard found after that 3-day adventure is what, 75 or so? Typically it's over 100.
Yeah, well, so with the virtual, that's changed a little bit. Whenever it was in person, yes, that was accurate. The virtual, we have about probably 65, but we guarantee 50 at a 50% ROI. So typically our average ROI though is way over 70% and a lot of times over 100%, which people are shocked by the return on investment there. If you're putting out $5 and you're getting back $5 of profit, that's pretty average for us with the replen training, which is pretty powerful because there are a lot of people, that, just starting out and, I see posts that are like, oh, I can't find, high ROIs. I'm finding only low profits. And that is the case for them, but that's not always the case whenever you get good at what to look for. So it does take some effort to get to that point, but utilizing coaching or utilizing the one-on-one trainings, you can really see a higher amount of success in that area and making sure that you have high ROIs so that your inventory can grow, or I guess your cash flow can grow a lot faster from that. So that's been pretty cool to see.
You bring a good point. And the other category of testimonials that I'm really enjoying is how international this is too. Mm-hmm. People from all over the world, even countries that don't have Amazon. We're seeing people succeed and they can buy their products online, ship it to a US based partner, build a business. And we're actually ramping up. I don't know if I even told you this or not, Jimmy. We're kind of getting updated with each other on a couple things perhaps today, but we've got one of our students who turned into a coach recently who's developing some content that's going to help make that even easier. One of the challenges some of our students run into, for example, if they live outside the US and they're trying to shop in the US online, is a credit card sometimes gets a little squirrely with them and they can't make the orders they want to make. Well, we're going to smooth that over. We've got some really cool stuff coming on that. But yes, several different categories of testimonials. And I would have to agree with you. I think this probably the most compelling are some of the single mom success stories. But our ability to go in, and I think we've done this so many times now, that I think we maybe underappreciate the value of what we're able to do now. How many people have gone through our training where we go to their hometown, and how many have we had come through that? Maybe 15, 20? I don't even know what the number is.
Oh, no, I think it's over 40 people
total. Is it
total.
that many now? Wow.
Yeah, in total, because if you're talking about virtual
plus
in person, I think just the virtual ones so far, we've had, I can count actually. We've had 17 virtual, and we did over 20 to 30 or so in person pre-COVID. So we've had over 40.
And what's that website?
That's provenreplentraining.com.
Proven replen, there's no S in there, training.
Right.
Replentraining.com.
Correct.
Okay. But the point I wanted to make on that was after we've done 40, coming up on 50 of these, we haven't had one refund complaint. We've had nothing but testimonials and people excitedly launching incredible businesses. Many of them have been guests on the podcast. I just think that's incredible because, again, with a couple decades experience, I've never seen an offer like that. Hey, we'll come to your hometown, or hey, we'll just get on and help you launch it the next few days. And we guarantee we're going to help you find at least 50. We're probably going to find way more than that ways for you to turn $5 into $10.
Right.
You products that you can start selling right now and access right now on Amazon. Because the theme has been for a couple decades, hey, what am I going to sell? I can't find anything to sell. Help me find something. That's what we do better than anyone from my vantage point. So super exciting stuff, man. And you're doing a great job leading our replens charge. So congratulations, man.
Thank you.
Really have built something special. Well, I want to talk a little bit about, now that we've been doing this a while, few years, we've got a lot of people who have built businesses up to 1,000, 5,000, 10,000, some cases significantly more, 50,000 or more a month, 100,000. We've got several 7-figure businesses just doing replens, but we've never really said, hey, everybody who's at this level, let's get you all under the same tent and learn from each other and grow and start to systemize and build out some of these processes. Talk to us a little bit about what you've come up with for that.
Yeah. So like you mentioned, there's kind of a gap, I guess, so to speak. In the course, I walk through how to go from $0 to $100,000 per month, right? Doing replens. The majority of the course, though, is focused on getting to $10,000 a month. And then the last half of the course goes through stages of business, 10 to 40,000, 40 to 70, and 70 to 100, and then 100 beyond. But there's not as much detail in there, right? It's much more of an overview and a highlight of these are the things that have worked in our business at up to that point when we recorded the course. These are the things that worked in our business to help us to move to the next level of our replens business. And so as I've seen so many people, and so have you, seen so many people get success through the replens model, at a certain point, and it's different for everyone, they get a little stuck with, okay, how do we transition to the next period of the business? And while I did cover it a little bit in the course, there's still some apprehension. There's still some issues in terms of details, right? Of okay, what are the specifics? What are the specific things that I have to do? They still have to build their systems. They still have to figure out more things on their own, because that's just how the course works. We give you a higher level overview of how to scale that in it. So what I figured out is, okay, there's a certain gap where we need to be able to work with sellers on creating and implementing systems directly in their business, of getting people to work together. There's so many success stories. So we want to make sure that we get these people working together to grow their business in terms of the software they need, how to hire people, how to manage a team, how to grow, when they should even outsource profitably. Because I think that that's an important piece. We want to make sure that you're profitable before you start outsourcing other things in your business. So there's so many different things that I want to cover in detail. And that's kind of what we've started to come up with is how do we get that to be a predictable system moving forward as well, for anybody that starts to level up in their replens business, right? And starting with the growth mindset.
Teacher, right?
Mm-hmm.
In this?
Oh, yeah. So I'll be the teacher. If we're talking about the specific program, right, it's 8 weeks long, 8 focused sessions with me, and then also 8 Q&As with other experts is what we're going to do that have grown and scaled their business. And some really big hitters, right, that are going to be on these webinars that I'm stoked to have on, and just even ask questions and see what they've done, because they might have a different take on some things, but we can all learn together. And I really like helping people. And so especially help them to grow and scale their business. Scaling is my favorite topic for whatever reason. I'm not even sure why, but it's my favorite topic out of all of the replens stuff, because it really can continually transform your life, because you can apply it to other aspects of the business. Like once you start to scale it, you can apply that same model to wholesale, to private label, to other businesses, because scaling is all about figuring out the systems and processes to grow and how to remove yourself from the day-to-day aspects of the business. So that's my favorite thing. And so I'm really excited to be able to work, as directly as I can with up to 50 people at a time, for an 8-week focused intensive session, essentially.
And I think a lot of the value of getting this group together under the same roof, if you will, is just going to be the connections and the camaraderie, and kind of saying, oh, okay, these are the people that have taken this seriously for a few months. They built something significant. We have a lot in common at this point. We're not afraid to ask questions. It's not like there's going to be any one person that knows all the answer, but that's going to be a really smart group to be a part of.
Mm-hmm.
You're just not going to run into anything that this group can't really help you get through. The mastermind component, if you will, I think it's going to continue well after the 8 weeks, just because of the relationships that will form and the people that will be a part of this. So what format will this be delivered in? What's the plan for delivering this content over the 8 weeks, and what can people expect if they go to sign up? And we should probably mention the website, advancedreplensmastermind.com. That one is plural, advancedreplensmastermind.com. There will be links in the show notes to everyone. So if you're scrambling, writing all this down, just go to silentjim.com and look for this episode. There'll be links to all this stuff. But what can someone expect as far as what this group's going to look like as it forms?
Yeah. So the content delivery, we've got a Facebook group, obviously, so we can ask questions, and that's kind of where I'll host the recordings, but we'll do this through Zoom links. And I planned we'll see how it goes the first couple of weeks, but I plan to have it to where we can see each other's faces, right? So it's not just a webinar focused. I can actually, see everybody that's on. And you don't have to share your video if you don't want to or anything, but I can at least, have people come up and ask questions from the stage, right? And so that's kind of my goal, is to make it more of a group learning session as much as we can, like if we were in any kind of a classroom, to where we can learn together. And if somebody's doing something in their business that they want to share that maybe I didn't cover or I didn't even think about, or it's something that we don't have in our business, we can learn together from that standpoint. So that's how the content delivery is going to take place. The Facebook group is going to be important, but I'm also going to, and I still have to figure out the best way to do this. I'm going to share over 30 of our proven standard operating procedures from our business. And so that way I have to figure out the best way to get those to everyone. But that's going to be something that people can directly implement right into their business, depending on where they're at and the systems they need to.
And that's going to be a huge value. Those SOPs, the standard operating procedures that are being used by the most successful businesses in this community. Tremendous value. If that was all it was, that's a tremendous value. So you're really packing in the value here. And one thing I want to point out too is, because this is the first time we're doing anything like this, a mastermind for higher end sellers, that the price is ridiculously inexpensive, especially if you're a past coaching student of our community, or a current coaching student, I should say as well. You're going to your jaw is going to drop, I think, when you see the price tag we have on this. It's way lower than it should be. And the quality of people who have already signed up is amazing. It's going to be a beautiful group. So I'm excited to see it form. I hope to drop in a few times as well myself. I mean, we have a very active Replans Amazon business myself, and we're learning new things every day as well. I'd like to think I'm pretty good at a few different pieces of it. And there's a lot of pieces I'm still learning, but I'm kind of the spreadsheet guy on our team. I can make the spreadsheet sing and dance, man.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty good at finding new replens too. I mean, it's a skill set. Once you have it, it's hard not to see them everywhere. I can't go in a store now without just taking a picture of a shelf. I'm like, I know when I get home, if I've got an hour or two, I'm going to find 5, 10, maybe more great profitable products from pretty much any shelf in the store. So it's a skill set. Once you have, it's phenomenal. But scaling a real business is very different from almost the hobby level. It's almost like the title of your book, Side Hustle to Full-Time Income. This can be a hustle that makes a few extra $100 a week for anybody. You want to build a real business and kind of own something, own an asset instead of having your time sucked up with it. That's when you start scaling and you get into these different models of having a real business. So let's talk through who this is for, who it's not for. Is there a clean line in the sand, and how does someone decide to be, if they want to be a part of this, how do they go about it? I mean, I know we gave them the website.
Yeah, so there's no real clean line in the sand. The goal is obviously for people that are ready to scale their business. Typically, I see that that's over $10,000 per month. But if you're at a point in your business where maybe you're working 60 or 70 hours a week and you're doing $7,000 a month, well, go ahead and apply. And we have people that review the applications. And if we feel like it's a good fit based off the answers, then we definitely would let you know that. But if there's something that we feel that maybe it isn't a good fit, we will also let you know the reasons why, and where, if we do these again in the future, where you need to be in the future for us to be able to have you in there. But yeah, so if you're anywhere at the point in your business where there's too many things going on and you can't handle it all and you can't grow because you don't have people in helping you with your business, then reach out, let us know, and apply for it. And that's how we'll let you know if it's a good fit or not. But yeah, that would be my suggestion. Anybody that's at the point where they can't grow and they're looking to scale and grow their business, then that's when you should really consider this program. The Replan basics, all of that's covered in the course. All of that's covered with a lot of other things that we already have out there. But growing and scaling, while it is generically and from a higher level overview covered in the course, the actual boots on the ground, like let's get this implemented in your business, that's where that's going to happen in this program.
Very good. So if you're brand new to all of this, you need to get the proven Amazon course or look into some of our coaching offers. We'll come to your hometown, we'll get online virtually and do an intensive with you for 2 or 3 days one-on-one, or you can come to one of our students' warehouses. We just launched that program. I'll stick a link to that in the show notes too. I mean, you can go and sit and learn at one of our places. We'll come to your place, do it virtual, or you can sign up for long-term coaching, or just go with the proven Amazon course. We have a lot of options for people to get into the Amazon models that we train. But today we're specifically saying, if you're at that around that $10,000 mark, or you kind of feel like, I love the way you said it, like you're working a lot and you're not quite growing as much as you'd like to be, which I think there's going to be some people that fall into that camp. This is a good opportunity for you to learn how to scale, systemize, and truly start to grow, so that you're spending less time working in the details of your business, and you're kind of owning it, and you're owning these processes and systems and putting the right people in place and using the right tools and that sort of thing. So do you happen to have in front of you I know you said it's 8 weeks, just kind of to look through the modules of, is there anything else that we haven't covered that we want to make sure people know? I mean, it's listed on the website, so maybe we can just refer people there, but it's very specific and laid out. Hey, here's the 8 weeks. Here's the 8 sessions.
Yeah. So the 8 sessions, because we didn't list out each week on the website. We just kind of put generic topics that we're going to cover, and quite a bit of them. But the 8 weeks, so week 1 is an outsourcing overview and profitability assessment. So that's where we're going to do a deep dive into when is it time for you to outsource? Really also, what things can you outsource, right? Because if you're struggling from a profitability standpoint, well, adding a $2,000 a month warehouse lease is not exactly a good idea. So we need to figure out what things you can grow and scale so that's where we're going to start. The second week is creation of standard operating procedures. I'll also give some examples and templates. So those 30, actually over 30 SOPs that I'm going to give from our business are going to kind of be slowly released each week as we cover different topics. But that week, I'm going to cover how you can create your own, how you can start with the operations manual that I'm going to give everybody, and how to really start implementing your own procedures as well into it, right? Because there are going to be things in your business that we don't do in our business. And so I want you to be able to create your own as well. We'll talk about daily tasks and account management also, because as your business grows, the account management side of things starts to become more of a headache, to be honest. So we want to make sure that you're doing the right things each day in your account. So we'll cover that there. Week 3 is going to be recommended software with standard operating procedures for each. And I'll give different options. I'll tell you what we use in our business, and here's the procedures to use that. But if there's other options out there, I'll also cover those. I just wouldn't give the SOPs for that business or for that software, because we don't use them in those cases. We'll cover prep and ship workflows, and then also shopping workflows. So what is step 1 to the end of a shipment? What is step 1 to the end of how a shopper buys things, how they bring them to you or to a warehouse or to a prep center, and really what their tasks are at the end of that. Week 4, hiring employees versus independent contractors. So I'm going to cover the paperwork. I'm going to cover hiring and firing people if you need to. Hopefully not, but if you need to fire people, I'll cover some procedures for that. Solving problems, team communication, training schedules, onboarding, operations manuals, and metrics as well that you want your employees or independent contractors to meet, because that's important. You want to give them key performance indicators so that you know if they're doing a good job and they know if they're doing a good job at what they're doing. And then the training schedules are actually going to be, I think, pretty important. And I think a lot of people, whenever they start to scale, because they have such a tight grip on their business, it becomes an issue where they don't want to let things go. And so I'm going to give you our typical schedule for how we train prep and ship people, and how we train shoppers, as well as how we train people that are looking for new replens for us and whatnot, because that's a huge piece to actually letting go of some of the things in your business properly. So that's just through the first 4 weeks. So week 5, scaling a warehouse. If that's something that you can do, right? If you're doing this all virtually, then the scaling a warehouse piece won't be as applicable, but we're also going to touch on prep centers as well. So if you're utilizing a prep center, that will also be covered during week 5. Week 6 is inventory management, making shopping lists, training your buyers, and even credit cards. So how to manage credit cards with employees, what kind of a credit card to utilize in your business. Week 7, bookkeeping, receipt management, internal controls, right? If you've got people that are buying things for your business, how do you make sure they're not stealing stuff, or not buying a Snickers every time they go to the store or something, or not buying a TV at times? So some internal controls. capital growth, and then employee retention, because retaining your employees is extremely important. And we've done a good job of that in our business. We've had the same, our first 2 employees are still with us. And so it's been about 3 years now since we added them into our business. So, and then the last week 8, is adding wholesale, private label, and other streams of income, profit partnerships, as well as kind of how do you decide what to pursue next once your current model, the replens model, is bolted down in your business. And then each week I'm going to have an expert for Q&A with them. So those are the 8 weeks. It's a ton to cover. I remember when we first talked about this, Jim, that you had said, can you cover all of that in those 8 weeks? Because there's so much. There's actually more than that in terms, whenever we look at the weeds or the details of it all, there's more than the things that I listed. But that's just the overview of it all.
It's going to be an incredible experience. And as robust and thorough as that syllabus is of what you plan to cover, I still hold out that the relationships and the people that are going to be in that room, in that group with you, is going to be probably the biggest long-term benefit and value.
Yeah.
But I just love, and as I was listening to you go through it, some people may think that this is you go buy some stuff and you flip it. I mean, how complicated could it be? No, this is a real business. If you're going to start talking about a 7-figure business and you've got a few people you've hired to help you, and the accounting piece and the outsourcing piece, and where you're going to keep all your stuff, there's some decisions that need to be made. Now, this is the lowest hanging fruit business opportunity online by far, in my opinion. If something else was better, we'd be teaching it. We're not here because Amazon told us, hey, would you please help people learn to sell on Amazon? And they wrote us a big check. That's not why we're doing this. We're doing it because when we look at the landscape of opportunities, this is the entryway that you want to go through. Replens specifically is the starting point. And if you want to scale that and systemize it and build a real business, this is the content that I just don't see anyone else out there offering. We're really far ahead of the pack on this. So the people that you jump into, and I think the next time we do this, after we go through this first 8 weeks and we get this first group of people through it, we're going to charge a whole lot more money for the process, because that's a long list of value. We're providing easily 100 times the value for what people are going to pay and put into this if they take it seriously. So I'm excited to see how this goes, man. I can't wait to launch it and roll it out there.
Yeah, me too. And also, I mean, I want to point out, and I said it briefly earlier, everything that I listed off there, for the most part, can't apply to wholesale, private label, other things. I know it's called the Advanced Replens Mastermind, and it will be focused from a replens perspective, but the concepts will be applicable to a lot of different things. So if you've got a mixed business of replens and private label, or replens and wholesale, these things will still apply to you. So make sure that you're taking a look at that for your business, if it makes sense, right?
If you're trying to scale your Amazon business, this is going to be very applicable. Mm-hmm. Yeah, for anyone at any level. And I know that for a fact that we have people in our group that have some massive Amazon businesses. Mm-hmm. They would benefit from this, if nothing else, just the group, the community, getting, figuring out you're not crazy. I'm not the only crazy one. Hey, hang out with other people who think, breathe, eat, sleep Amazon and are growing incredible businesses. Mm-hmm. And I think for the new listeners who are, maybe if they feel a little overwhelmed, like, wow, I didn't realize this business was that complicated. Well, it certainly doesn't have to be. We have a lot of people in our community. It's a few extra $100, an extra $1,000 a week, whatever. And they're very content there, and that's what they're trying to do. We're really good at training you on that too. But this is more for the business owner who wants to truly build an asset and free up their time. Much like what you've done, Jimmy. I mean, how much time do you spend now prepping, packing, shopping, sourcing, right? How much of that is in your routine now?
So I don't prep and pack anything anymore. I probably haven't packed a box in a year and a half, 2 years from that standpoint. Now, it doesn't mean that I won't, right? If we need to get something out, I would go do it. I'm not above doing that.
There's money everywhere. Yeah, we might
exactly
find ourselves in the warehouse.
Yeah, but we haven't had to do that, luckily. And then from a shopping perspective, Brittany still handles some of that. So I handle other things in the business. But I haven't done shopping for our business in a while. I've done shopping with other people whenever we've done one-on-one trainings. I still look for, I went to this little niche specialty, like Mexican food grocery store the other day, and was taking pictures and looking at stuff. But actually going out to do the shopping, I haven't had to do that because we've built the systems and have the people that are able to manage that for us. But it's still something that, I'll do from a training perspective. And, if I am out and about and I want to check something out, I'll do it then. But I've never had to do it in the last 2 years, right? I get to do it. I can do it, but I don't have to.
Yeah. And one of the points I want to make there on kind of the journey you've been on, you were a new student trying to build a business not that long ago, and now you've built one. And it's kind of the, if you will, climbing the ladder around here means, hey, build a business, automate it, free up some of your time, create content with us, write a book. You've got a phenomenal book. I was just checking the reviews right before we turned on the recording today. And I didn't tell you I'd done this, but it's getting beautiful reviews. The Side Hustle to Full-Time Income. It's an orange book by Jimmy Smith. Find it on Amazon. 5-star reviews all over the place, talking about this business model, getting people launched into it. You've also, in the Proven Amazon course, the vast majority of the replens content in there, we teach the full model. That's content you've created for us. And so you're getting paid, you're getting these checks as we're promoting and growing this community and new students are coming in. That opportunity, the point I'm making, is open to anybody. Find gaps in what we offer, step forward, train it with excellence. We've got an audience of people who know we only teach stuff that works. So step up. That's kind of that's how you go to that next level around here, creating multiple income streams, training others on what works. So you've done a tremendous job without even really realizing you were doing it necessarily, of kind of modeling what it looks like to come in new, take it serious, build something, train others on what you're doing. Write a book. You've got your podcast. I know you've got a new website launching too. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so that should be ready by the Proven Conference. It's going to be askjimmysmith.com is the website. So hopefully by the time that this becomes live, it'll be either done or close to being done. But basically, so one thing I want to point out, I don't just make income from the Amazon business or even from the coaching and training and the courses, right? I have 4 other businesses on top of that I help to run and manage and have worked to help scale and bring in the right people. And so I know that sounds like a lot, but I want to make sure that because we've been able to build our business from a replen standpoint, we've got that bolted down. I've had a lot more time to do these things. And so part of the website is going to be bringing those things together so people can kind of see some of the resources and other things that I suggest. But also I wanted a place where I could highlight some of my favorite questions from the week, where you could submit a question and I could answer it. So I'm going to do probably a YouTube video a week, as well as a blog post that's the similar content. But that way you can ask questions, whether you wanted to submit a Keep a Graph or you had just questions about any of the other things that I do. I'm going to just kind of have it all be the place where you can go to find out things, right? Whether it's my podcast or any of the other stuff. Yep. Yeah. AskJimmySmith.com. And the reason it's not
podcast, your Biblical Business Leader podcast, which I don't think I've missed an episode yet. And I was honored to be a guest on. Tremendous. There.
Thank you again. Yeah. It's cool. And so that will be on the website. But the reason it's not JimmySmith.com and it's AskJimmySmith.com is because, Jimmy Smith is a common name, so that was taken. But yeah, so AskJimmySmith.com was actually your idea, Jim. I asked you for an idea of a domain name, and that was your idea, and I loved it.
Brainstorm something decent together. We'll see if it sticks. First, remembering it. To me, the key to a good domain name is how unlikely people are to misspell it when they. And I thought I had a good one with silentjim.com. I'm like, that's going to be easy. Everyone's easy to remember. You can't miss. No, I've seen people spell Jim, G-Y-M. Like, no, it's me. I'm Jim. So, but I think we got a good one with you. I don't see anyone coming up with a way to misspell askjimmysmith.com. I mean, I think maybe we may be onto something there. We'll see.
I think so. I was this close to doing Silent Jimmy just because, but I didn't do it.
That would be hilarious. Yeah. I think people already get us confused a little bit sometimes.
True.
Jim's floating around here. We got to call Cooper on our coaching team. He's Jim Cooper because it's Jim C. We're like, no, he's Cooper. I officially changed his name like 4 years ago. Like, dude, we got to finish this once and for all. You're Cooper.
Yeah, exactly.
So now everyone just calls him Cooper.
Yep, for sure.
Too many Jims. Well, man, this is really cool. I don't want to skip past, the Ask Jimmy Smith. You were kind of describing what all is going to be on there. You're going to have YouTube videos. You got your podcasts, of course, the book. And one of the things that comes to mind for me, after you're doing this a little while, it's hard to put on the vantage point, maybe the glasses, and see this whole thing from the vantage point of someone who's new to all this. Most people, 80% of our culture, are going to a job where they don't really feel like it's hitting the sweet spot of what they were made for. So you start hearing about a guy who's having fun and launching businesses and involved in other businesses and has all this free time, and it just doesn't sound real. But it is real. It is happening, and the gateway in is the replens model. If it was another model, we'd be talking about it. That's the reason I talk about it all the time. This podcast is listened to by a lot of people who maybe haven't got there yet. So I want to spend a little bit of time encouraging those folks. We've talked about replens for a while now. Has anything changed? Is it becoming saturated, for example? Let's think about this from the vantage point of maybe the skeptic. Is the opportunity still just as good as it ever was? We've taught a lot of people how to do this. Maybe that's the question I'd like to throw at you. Is it harder now than it used to be?
Yeah, it's a great question. And real quick, it looks like a thunderstorm's coming in. So if you hear some thunder in the background, I apologize. But as far as has the opportunity from a replen standpoint become saturated? No, the answer is no, it has not become saturated. Like I said earlier, I was worried about that with the course, right? I'm going to launch a course talking about everything that we do in our business and how we grew it. Well, that doesn't seem like that's going to work out for our business, but it's only gotten better since then. We've gotten more efficient. We've added new replens. We're constantly adding new replens. The cool thing about the opportunity is that every year, Amazon customers have grown. Every year, products on Amazon have grown. Every year, sellers have grown too. But because the products and the customers continue to grow, the opportunity continues to grow with it. And that's an extremely important piece of information, I think, for anybody that's getting into this and is concerned. The reason we started on Amazon and not eBay, for instance, is because I had heard, well, the eBay opportunity is dead. But there's people that do so much money on eBay as well now. So I've heard even ever since we started that Amazon was starting to phase out as well. So the opportunity, you're going to continue to hear that, but the opportunity is going to continue to grow as people get more used to spending money online, as people continue to grow utilizing Amazon for everything. Amazon, as much as they have some issues, that you'll see in some of the seller forums, they support us, right? They support sellers. The majority of their business revenue comes from sellers, and they're going to continue to do what they can to engage their customers, to continue to use their platform, which also helps us as a seller. So it's going to continue to grow, in my opinion, as new products come out and onto the platform. It's pretty cool.
It really does feel to me like it's in its infancy as well. And I've been saying that for 20 years, and I still think it's accurate. And the statistics back us up. We just made a 5-year leap into the future as far as people embracing e-commerce and shopping from home and using the internet to buy the stuff they need. But even after that 5-year leap into the future because of the COVID effect, where everyone's shopping online, we're still only at around 12, 15% maybe max of all economic activity, of all retail, I should say, activity is happening online. There's 85% of all economic activity in the US, retail, happening traditionally, brick and mortar, people getting in their car, going to stores. There's a lot of room for growth in the next decade, 15 years. And I think this model is going to last that entire curve. As long as there's supply and demand shifts back and forth and new products being introduced and people shopping on Amazon, which half of all transactions in the United States online are on Amazon. That's pretty incredible when you think about it. That's the monster you can't ignore in the room. Half of all economic activity online is on Amazon. That's nuts. So if you're not in it, you're kind of a little crazy to ignore it. And this is the gateway in to all those other models that we talked about. Launching your own product, wholesale, the other strategies that you can use that we teach. So yeah, it's not going anywhere. It's not saturated. We're still learning. And I believe there's students listening to this right now who are going to join us and teach us things that we never even imagined about this model. There's always more to discover. No one's perfected it yet. But we are making a lot of money using this exciting strategy. So thanks for bringing it to us in such a way that's very absorbable and consumable and doable. You really broke it down into a nice structure. You're a very systematic thinker.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. Thank you, Jim. It's been quite the blessing to be able to be a part of all of this, and it's kind of crazy for me to think back on a couple of years ago when all of this started. So it's been was probably 2 years ago today. I think we started the replens course in July of 2019, right? So like right after the 4th of July. So it's,
Wow.
I mean, we were talking 2 years ago today about, getting it going, right? So it's
Yeah.
pretty crazy to think how far things have come in the last 2
Things
years.
change very quickly, especially, good news travels fast and things that work, people pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you mentioned the upcoming conference in Tampa. We're going to be there July 12th through 14th, 2021. If you're listening to this before then or right before then, you can still get live stream or you can come join us, theprovenconference.com. You're going to be on stage a few times. Replens is a heavy theme this year with the event. We've got several other topics we're covering as well. But what are you going to be speaking on? Talk to us about your sessions a little bit. Do you have anything in mind, a little sneak peek maybe, or just want to encourage folks to be there?
Yeah, so obviously I encourage folks to be there because it's such an awesome event. There's so many different people to talk to, so many people to network with that you can kind of grow together with. And so that's the huge important piece to the conference. Now, the things that I'll be talking about, there's going to be, I'll be on a replens panel, right, on the main stage. So we'll be talking about replens and answering questions. And we'll, me and Carl Jacoby and Abe McMahon, right, we're going to each have about 5 minutes of content, and then we'll get into some questions to help people grow their business. But my two actual presentations, one's going to be replens specific, so more probably on the basics, but we'll see, who all shows up. It's going to be kind of a more laid back session where without a PowerPoint, it's just gonna be more of a discussion, which is exciting. It's also a little, it makes me a little bit nervous just because I'm the systems approach type person. So I like a PowerPoint, but I think it'll be a good conversation and we can kind of go the direction of whatever the room is to hit questions, but also to cover certain content for that specific group. And then the second one is going to be on outsourcing. So that one's going to be more of a presentation. It's going to be on scaling and growing your business. Some of the best tips that I have for it from a high level standpoint. I'm going to be talking about outsourcing. So that'll be a fun one. And I'll have the PowerPoint to rely on, but that'll be a good one for sure.
It's going to be a fun event. It's this format we've only done once before where we've got several breakout sessions and there's not going to be a huge crowd at any given time in any of the spaces. Our morning session is going to be for everybody. But after that, we break up into smaller rooms and plenty of time to hang out and speak with, I think we've got about 15 or 18 presenters and speakers. In some cases, they're doing sessions more than once, so you don't have to manage and juggle the schedule and miss something you wanted to see. We're recording the whole thing, of course, but it's going to be a great event in Tampa, Florida. It's coming up really fast, especially as by the time people are listening to this, it's coming up real fast. We'll get this one out probably right before the event starts. But it's not to be missed for sure. And the live stream prices are crazy low. Theprovenconference.com. If you can't be there, grab live stream. Everything's going to be recorded and uploaded in real time. So if you miss a session, you're going to get access to the recording super fast if you buy live stream. It's a good way to go. But man, it's been great hanging out with you. Anything else that you'd want to put on the listeners before we jump off here? Again, we want to make sure people check out if they've got an established business, they're looking to scale and use your standard operating procedures and go through all the content you listed. It's advancedreplensmastermind.com. Advancedreplensmastermind.com. That link will be in the show notes, silentjim.com. But any parting thoughts before we start to wrap this one up?
Nothing, I guess, profound, right? The biggest thing is from a replens perspective, I think the opportunity is continuing to grow with niche spaces in terms of local regional stores. So check those out if you're brand new. I would take that. I'm sure you've talked about it on the podcast before, Jim. But take a look at some of those local grocers, some of those local stores, and build relationships to where you've got access to either working with them to see all of their products and work with them from a bulk discount standpoint, or to actually help them grow their brand on Amazon. I think that will continue to be an opportunity. But that would be my suggestion: is focus on local and regional products, and grow your business that way. That's probably the safest way to continue to make it more stable, and also the lowest hanging fruit right now as well. Also, we talk about it in the course, but private label brands for stores, that's a huge thing as well. It's like Walmart has Mainstays and Equate, Target has Archer Farms, et cetera. So those types of brands is what you're looking for. So that would be my advice. Other than that, just really excited for the Proven Conference. It's going to be big. Replan Dashboard's a sponsor. My mom's going to be there. So the e-commerce accounting with talking about her course at times too. I'm sure you can ask questions if you're there about the course she did with us, which is at provenaccountingtraining.com. I think that's still on sale, Jim. So I wanted to at least put that out there. But I'm excited for the conference because I don't know. I'm just really stoked for it.
Hundreds of your fellow listeners to this podcast are going to be gathering in Tampa, and you're going to regret it if you're not there with us. But we got the live stream for you if you can't make it. None of our international friends are coming this year for the most part. A few people jumped through all the hoops and red tape to travel during the COVID era from outside the country, the COVID era.
That's awesome.
So that's a lot of work, though. So we're going to miss seeing them this year. But it's going to be a tremendous event, and looking forward to it for sure. So all the business building warriors out there who hung out with us today, we're really glad you spent some time. Hopefully you feel like you're updated on what else coming on. Hey, one thing, Jimmy, I want to mention this too, just a little sneak. We're not going to say a whole lot about it, but we're working on what we hope to launch as a completely free app that helps you find replens. So how cool is that? So that's coming. Something we're working on that we'll have some news for you hopefully by the time the conference gets here. It's going to be pretty smoking cool to see that. We don't know when we'll be demoing that, but it's coming. So since I had Jimmy on here, we've had a couple meetings and we've got the ball rolling hard on that already. So we're looking forward to telling you guys about that soon. But that's the last sneak peek. But beyond that, hey, all the business building warriors out there who are hanging out with us today, thank you so much. Please leave us your feedback or a review or 5-star. We always appreciate that. Be sure to check out Jimmy's book. It's Side Hustle to Full-Time Income by Jimmy Smith. It's an orange book cover. Can't miss it, right on Amazon. It really lays out the whole replens model and the different stages of growth. AskJimmySmith.com is his website for his great podcast and other stuff he's got going on. Just a very trusted, respected leader in our community who I'm honored to get to work with. So thanks for being here, man.
Thanks for having me. It's always fun to get on here. So I really appreciate the opportunity, and excited to see what's to come in the future. And for that app that you mentioned, that's going to be a game changer for a lot of people.
I think it's really going to help a lot of people. We're excited to roll that too.
Yeah.
So thanks for hanging out with us today, everybody. We're going to have another great episode for you real soon. God bless all the business building warriors out there. We're in your corner. We're here for you. If you're not in our free Facebook group yet, we're blowing past a new 1,000 students, it seems like every month right now, but it's keeping that very friendly feel of, hey, no stupid questions. Anyone ask anything, anytime. We're here to help out the new sellers. They encourage you, very positive place with hundreds of recent success stories being posted, and you can scroll through them if you want. We've got them right there tagged for you, so you can just see them one after the other. It's a pretty beautiful thing to see. So jump in there if you're not there yet, but we'll have another great episode for you again like this one real soon. Thanks for joining us.